Now, the first one, I'm putting the two together, alcoholism and smoking. If you yourself are a person that drinks a lot and you're a person that smokes, this one really almost doesn't apply to you. Now, there's a difference, of course, between drinking alcohol and being an alcoholic. If a person is an alcoholic, chances are the person they want around them is also somebody that drinks, unless they're just looking for an enabler to solve all their problems. As far as smoking, most non-smokers, really don't like being with a smoker anyway. So if you are a moderate drinker and you're not a smoker, you really need to think, do you want to invest in a relationship long-term with somebody who needs alcohol, with somebody who is going to smoke the rest of their life? I only dated in my entire lifetime one that smoked, and it convinced me, and I never wanted to be with a smoker to begin with, but things kind of happened. I gave it a try, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I can put up with this, but really, I found it to be a deal breaker. If you're not a smoker, being with a smoker usually is a bad thing. It's something you really should look at, because it's one thing to hang out with somebody who's not going to smoke for 4 hours while you're on a date or hanging out. But if you're going to actually live 24/7 with somebody who's going to be smoking every day, you have to think, are you really willing to put up with that as a non-smoker? Same thing with an alcoholic. I remember there was this wonderful, Filipina that I met, and very sweet, very kind, and all these things, but it took me about 3 weeks, almost a month, to realize she was an alcoholic. She wasn't just a Filipina who had maybe a red horse with her friends twice a month just for something to do, or maybe went to a party once a month to drink up a bit and have some fun. We're talking about somebody who every day after work was going to sit down at the red tables, the plastic tables, and drink alcohol, and could not do without it. We're talking about somebody who was missing work because they were hungover. These are like classic signs of alcoholism. Unless you want to be in an unhealthy, enabling relationship where you're the sober one solving all the problems while this person is falling apart, again, I don't see that as any kind of a relationship I want. And so I just reluctantly had to end that, because I wasn't going to try to pull her up off the floor of her life as she continually ran to alcohol every time she had a stressful situation. So I would label those two as the first two, alcoholism and tobacco. Is that your deal breaker? Again, for some people it's not, but for most people who are not alcoholics or committed smokers, they generally don't really want to be with somebody who is an alcoholic or a smoker. And what happens is, a lot of you guys, you don't abuse alcohol, and maybe you're not a smoker, but if you end up in a bar, well, if you're looking for a girlfriend that there's a high chance she drinks and smokes, you're probably going to find her in a bar. Is it a deal breaker for you or not? For me, it was. The next deal breaker really was a heartbreaker in my case, not to be specific, but it was several years ago, and it has to do with the whole issue of lying, secrets, and invasion of privacy. This is such a deal breaker, and I've seen a couple of my friends go through this. I put the three together, the lying, the secrets, and the invasion of privacy. The first two have to do with everything that they are hiding from you. The lying. Every time you get around to asking them a truthful question about their behavior, they will hide it by lying. That's how the secrecy comes about. You never really know who you're dealing with. You never really know what they're doing. You never really know where they are certain times of the week or certain times of the day. You don't really know who they're talking to, because they have a habit, and it's an ingrained lifelong habit of lying. They will even lie when they don't have to. But most importantly, they lie when you most need the correct information. Where were you for the last 4 hours? I couldn't reach you. Just tell me where you were. And you can tell they're coming up with some bogus, silly story that, as you ask them, okay, well, if that's true, then why this? And then, of course, they will deflect and get angry at you and try to change the subject and all that, because they are determined to lie to you. The other more blatant, open lying is when you openly bust them on something, and they say, okay, I'll never do that again. Never do that again. Okay, yeah, you caught me, whatever. They're lying to you because then you catch them doing it again. And they knew, or they just found a new way around it to hide it from you. Again, back to the secrets. If you're going to trust your life, your time, your money with a lifelong companion, lying and secrets, that's non-negotiable. You need somebody that's going to give you an honest answer to an honest question. And then with the invasion of privacy, again, I have had several close friends. Fortunately, I haven't had to deal with this myself, but I've seen the pain of having several close friends to where there was all this distrust from the person that they're involved with, who not only lies and keeps secrets, but has almost a pathological need to know every little thing about the one that's not or lying and keeping secrets. And so what they do is they're constantly playing detective. They're snooping through their phone. They're constantly trying to look for the code to get into their phone or get into their laptop and get into their Facebook and going through their wallet when they're asleep and just, smelling their clothes. And the thing is, it's like the guilty mind suspects that everyone else is guilty. The problem is not that they have a sufficient cause to go playing detective. It's that they themselves are so secretive and so dishonest. In their mind, they assume, oh, well, the other person is probably holding secrets too. I'm going to find out what those secrets are. And they go on this quest, which when they get caught and they're told, hey, don't go snooping through my phone. You want to look in my phone, just ask me and I'll show you. You want to see the PMs on my Facebook? Fine, let's sit down together. We'll look through the PMs. But don't go sneaking around when I'm asleep, trying to get into my stuff. That level of distrust is, to me, a cancerous deal breaker to a long-term relationship. You should be with a person that respects your privacy, who is going to give you an honest answer to an honest question when you ask them. You should be able to live with somebody in peace, not having this Cold War going on behind the scenes. The third deal breaker is a big one, and that is cheating, sexual infidelity. You'd be surprised. You would think that, oh yeah, if somebody cheated on me, they're gone, they're done. Too many guys and women, their partner cheats on them, and they decide, well, they love them so much they're going to give them another chance. And then they do it again. And even if it only happens the one time, there's the whole issue of, can you really ever trust that person? That's one issue. The second issue is, well, can you ever forget about it? Once a person, you trust them, and they break that trust by cheating on you, it's like the whole adage about the cracked mirror. You can glue it all back together, but you're still going to see the cracks. Doesn't matter who cheats, the relationship is not going to be the same. It's just not. If I'm with someone and I'm being faithful to them and they cheat on me, we're done. We're done. Yeah, maybe we love each other, maybe we enjoy being together, maybe we had a lot of plans for the future, but you know what? If you want to be with someone else enough that you're going to sneak around, go to their place, they're going to take off all their clothes and get intimate with some other person, you want somebody that bad, keep them. Bye. We're gone. Done. Another deal breaker that, again, too many people, I think, put up with is stealing. And stealing in combination with lying equals scamming. So I put those two together. When a person is stealing, now there's the outright stealing. They wait till you go to sleep and then they start pulling every week or whatever some money that they're hoping you don't miss. They're literally stealing it out of your wallet, or maybe you have a lock tote bag or a lock box or something, and they figured out the combo. They looked over your shoulder, whatever, and they're stealing. They're stealing from you. Instead of being in a relationship where you both openly talk about the things that each of you needs, this person is stealing. They're bypassing that whole honest communication. If you're in a good relationship, you should be able to talk to each other and, hey, I need to get some new shoes, or I'd really like to buy this or buy that or whatever. Let's talk about it. Let's see what the budget's doing. And it's like, okay, fine. Here's the money. Go do your thing, whatever. Take your sister on a birthday party, whatever. It should be open communication, not money taken in secret when you're not looking. When it's combined with lying, well, then it's just flat out scamming. Because now the method is not so much stealing it physically, it's using lies. Oh, my grandmother's sick, oh, the caribou's sick, or this or that. Again, under false pretense to hand over this money, and then this person is just doing whatever with it. Maybe they're sending it to their boyfriend, who knows? Or they're stockpiling it because they plan on leaving you. Whatever it is, they're getting money from you under a false pretense. And why a guy would put up with this, why a guy would catch his girlfriend stealing money from him, and then she starts crying or she starts whatever, trying to win him over, and oh, I'll never do it again, blah, blah, blah. It's bad enough the first time, but for him to catch her repeatedly, just finding smarter ways to steal from him, and then he keeps her, that is just not a smart life decision. Someone steals from you, and this applies really beyond just a girlfriend. Anybody, a person says they're your friend, they steal from you. That money, it costs you part of your time in your life to earn that money. When they steal money from you, they're stealing a part of your life, a part of the time you spent to earn that money. The next deal breaker that I'm sure you guys have seen this and just shaken your head, and you're like, why do these people even stay together? And it has to do with violence and nagging. I put the two together because they're both really an attack. When a person is violent and they will physically hit you, when they grab the things that you value in the house and throw them around and break them, that is an attack on the things you value. And when they nag you, they're trying to wear you down. They're trying to destroy some part of your personality that is standing up to them. So this whole putting up with a violent person, it could be the man, it could be the woman, but us expats, we're probably thinking about, hey, okay, you're with a Filipina. If she's going to resort to violence, slamming doors and busting windows and smashing your computer, if you don't want somebody busting up your stuff and they won't leave, move out. That's a deal breaker. You got somebody that's going to be violent either on your person or violent against your stuff, a person that's going to nag you until you basically submit to putting up with their nagging, that is an assault. And it's a deal breaker. I understand some guys, they encounter a woman and they believe she's just the last Coca-Cola in the desert. They think she's just so beautiful and so sexy, whatever. They're so afraid of losing her and not finding someone else that they tell themselves, oh, I'll put up with the nagging. Oh, I'll put up with her violence. I'll put up with her temper tantrums. It's the dumbest option, really. There should be no second time. When she shows that she has the type of personality, that she's got a temper and violent, that's when it's time to just say, we're done. We're done here. Now I see what kind of person you are. You're the kind of person that is going to get violent, and no, I have no room for that in my life. To be fair, there are times when you might get frustrated, she might get frustrated, you might raise your voices, you might have a moment where really you're just in disagreement. You're not trying to hurt each other. You're not trying to call each other derogatory names. You're not trying to hurt each other's feelings. It's just both of you get caught in the moment and you're both raising your voices. Well, I want to go to the mall. Well, I want to stay home. You're having basically a loud disagreement. That's one thing. That's life. That's human. That's being a human being. But when a person starts picking things up and throwing them, when a person starts trying to punch you in the face, you're done. That's a deal breaker. I'll put in here with the nagging is the other side of nagging is the tampo. I talked about this before. It's two extremes of the same issue, which is emotional manipulation. It's emotional warfare. Nagging is the overload of just constantly dripping on somebody with the same thing over and over and over and over again. It could be something you did wrong 6 years ago. It could be anything, but they're basically trying to wear you down mentally, emotionally, until they dominate over you with nagging. Until you finally just say, okay, if it'll make you shut up, fine, I'll do what you want. That's the whole point of nagging. The extreme opposite of that is the tampo. It's essentially when a woman goes silent on you, and we're talking silent treatment. No talking, no acknowledging that you're there, And this can go on for up to 3-4 days. What they're silently saying is, if you ever tick me off, I'm going to punish you with this silent treatment. It's a mental and emotional blackmail. That's when you really got to ask yourself, is this the kind of woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with? Is this the kind of woman I even want to spend the rest of the month with? You don't need somebody making your life harder. Life's hard enough. So if you're going to be with somebody, they should be making your life better. And you make their life better. That's what being in love is all about. Two people that love each other, take care of each other, help each other, not one of them or both of them pretty much being, like two scorpions in a jar, just making each other miserable. Why bother? Better to be alone, better to be single. There's always somebody else out there. You don't have to put up with these kind of deal breakers. Better to just cut it loose, give yourself the opportunity to meet somebody better.